Jamie Kennedy. Subscribe to my man, Destination Station right now if you want the best content.
What's up? Welcome to Destination Station. As always, I'm Destin. Thank you for clicking on this video. Subscribe to Destination Station for all horror movie reviews. And follow me on all my socials. All the links are down in the description below. I love your faces. Please like this video. I know I'm a little bit late on this review, but better late than never. I've been highly anticipating seeing Leigh Whannell's Wolfman. This is a movie that was on my radar for quite some time for the cast alone. I just love like a good werewolf movie. I don't feel like we get enough of those, especially not a good ones, you know. I'm coming off of seeing Werewolves with Frank Grillo back in December, which was a complete letdown, which that had a lot of hype around it. People were giving it really good reviews, and I could not see why.
Let me get to the damn fucking point.
And so I was like, okay, that put a bad taste in my mouth. Let's see what Leigh Whannell's going to do with Wolfman, and I have high hopes for it because Leigh Whannell pretty much never misses, okay? His execution on films and everything and his angle is always top tier. And just one of those guys, when you hear his name in horror, you're like, oh, I'm looking forward to that one, you know, just because we know what he can bring to the table. But all that being said, he did not bring his normal twist and turns and cinematography cool style that he brings to like Upgrade or even the Saw franchise, you know, as far as the writing and or Insidious, you know, or even The Invisible Man. And, you know, like all those movies just had a certain element to it. Like there was a certain ingredient of filmmaking in there that just like took it up an extra notch, you know. And I was expecting to see some of that in here, and it was very and it's very few and far between. You know, we do kind of see like the perspective of the werewolf, which is kind of cool, but there is a moment in this movie, the whole middle section drags very, very long, okay? This movie needed like more going on. There's not a whole lot going on in this movie. You've seen the trailer, you pretty much almost seen the entire movie kind of condensed. And the movie starts off strong, getting to know our characters, and then us getting to our location of where we're going. Our main lead, he has like this past with his dad, and he doesn't want to be the same father that he was, being real strict and angry all the time. So he's struggling with, he kind of like, you know, takes accountability whenever he kind of gets too aggressive, you know. So then they, you know, you can see where it's kind of going, because once he, you know, gets infected or whatever with the werewolf and he becomes a little bit more angry and aggressive, it's kind of, you know, leaning on that right there. But it takes so long to get there. And I just, this is like a one-time watch. I'm not going to sit here and bash this movie. A lot of people are bashing this movie more than what it deserves, but it's definitely not something that is going to wow you. There was not a moment in this movie that really wowed me. I didn't even really like the look of the werewolf. It looked more like Wrong Turn or something like that. Instead of the hills have eyes, we got the woods have eyes. Think of it like that, and you could probably, and instead of having multiple, you got one after somebody, after a group of people, and it didn't, I don't know, it felt like there was something missing out of this, and I'm not going to sit here and say it's a horrible movie, but this is definitely one of those January movies. It's like, okay, now we know why this is in the month of January. Lately, the last few years, January movies have been strong and been hitting. And this one's not, even though it's not god-awful, it's definitely not something you want to rush out and see. Great performances across the board. The movie just doesn't go anywhere. It seems like it's one of those movies that will like frustrate you because you're waiting for that like wow moment or like really kick off, and it just really doesn't. Not to the extent that it should. It's just kind of a bore a little bit, you know? And when stuff does happen, it's very few and far between. It's very quick. And the way the movie ends, it's like one of those movies that just ends and will kind of piss you off. But, you know, it's like a movie that they could make a sequel, you know, depending on which way they decide to go with it, because they're not out of the woods yet. You know, they could pick up, this could be one of those movies where it picks up exactly where it leaves off, and the second one could be a lot better. I don't see us ever getting a second one. I always thought that we were going to get a second Invisible Man, or maybe the Invisible Woman or something, just the way that movie left off. You know, there was layers to those movies. Upgrade, there was layers. Saw, there was layers. Insidious, there was layers. And the Invisible Man, there was layers. This one, it's one layer. You got one layer, maybe two, but there's not multiple, really. It's just very straightforward. It's serviceable. Throw some popcorn in your face. Have a little bit of good time. It's not one that I would rush out to the cinemas to see. I think it would have a bigger audience if it was streaming on Netflix or Amazon Prime or Peacock or wherever they decide to put this movie. Yeah. So, yeah, that's my review. I don't want to hate on it too bad, but it isn't that great either. It's very mid. So, yeah, just go into it with low expectations. You'll have a little bit of fun. It's too dramatic, too. Like there's... Like, what happened to horror movies that had that fun factor, you know? Like, yeah, you can have your dramatic moments and stuff, but the whole movie doesn't need to just be dramatic. Like, you gotta have that, you gotta have them endorphins going, you know? Like, that fun. And I feel like a lot of horror movies can miss that, you know? So, yeah, horror movies, quit being so dramatic and such a dreary-ass, miserable, depressing time, and give us some fun horror. And that's what exactly Wolfman should have been. And no, it does not connect to Invisible Man. So yeah, there you go. I saved you a lot of time. Review on the Wolfman. Not going to keep your time. Subscribe to Destination Station if you like what I'm doing here. And like this video. And I'll see you guys when I see you guys. I'll be right back.
I'll be right back.